Okay, so lesson 12.7 is on two-way frequency tables. This is called two-way because essentially we are comparing two categories, very similar to the way a scatter plot does it. But we have collected it from the same source. Okay, so not always done with that one. So this is an example of a scatter plot. So if we looked at these tables, there are people who studied, there are people who did not study, there are people who passed, and there are people who failed. Okay, so all of the things on the inside, they're in green because they are separate. They are called joint frequencies, and think of it as the joints on your bones. It's joined by two things. So these numbers, are being described by people who studied and people who passed. So if we asked ourselves, what does this 6 right here represent? Then that represents people who did not study and failed. All right, so the purple ones, those are on the outside. So think of the outside of a paper that you would edit on a Word doc. That's called the margins. And so the numbers on the outside are called your marginal frequencies. And these represent your totals. So in order to get this 22, I'm going to add 21 plus 1 is 22. 2 plus 6 is 8. So we can do that vertically. We can also do that horizontally. So 21 plus 2 is 23. 1 plus 6 is 7. And so just an example of how you would interpret this, you would say that 7 people failed or 8 people did not study. And then this 30, I call this your total. And it's the total number of participants or people you surveyed. Okay, so if we wanted to make our own table, two-way table, we would have to look at an example. So we have people who rode the bus, and then it's also broken down by their age. It's kind of hard to see that, so we'll say it's from 12 to 13, from 14 to 15, and from 16 to 17. So we have they either rode the bus, and they have 3 different options for ages, or they did not ride the bus, and those same options are below for the ages. So then if we were to make a table from this, we can count up that people who rode the bus and are between 12 and 13 are these numbers right here. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 24 for that one. And we're going to leave a little bit of space because we're going to put another number in there too. So then if we looked at the people who rode the bus but are between ages of 14 and 15, that's over here. So we have 5, 10, 12. And then we can do the same thing for people who are in the bigger age group and rode the bus. And there are 5, 10, 14. So we could find the total by adding these up. So 24, 12, and 14. If we add them up, then we get 10 over here, carry the 1. 60. Nope, sorry, 50. Wait. I think we counted wrong. 1 plus 2 plus 3, 4. No, it is 50. I'm sorry. 50. Okay, so for the no bus, we've got 1, 2, 3, that's 15, plus 1 is 16. 5, 10, 13. 5, 10, 15, 21. And again, 16 plus 13 plus 21 is 50 as well. So we have a total of 100 people that we surveyed. If we add horizontally, this is 24 plus 16, so that is 40. This is 12 plus 13, so 25. And 14 plus 21, so that is 35. So if we look at this, we can try to draw some conclusions, but we can also get stuck in the fact that we didn't interview the same number of different age groups. So I definitely have the same number of people who rode the bus versus didn't ride the bus because they're both 50. but these three numbers are not the same, so I can't compare just their numbers. So in order to do a comparison within the grades, we actually need to look at the percentage, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the numbers in this column and we're going to divide, in this row, and we're going to divide it by the total in that row. So if we do 24 divided by 40, that can reduce both by 8, so we get 3 out of 5, and that is 60%. So this is 60% of that age group rode the bus, which means the other part, 40%, did not. And I can continue to do that. So if I do 12 divided by 25, because I have a new total for a new age group, then I get 48%, and then this one would be 52%. Okay, same thing if we do 14 divided by 35, then we get 14 over 35, that is 2 over 5, which is 40%. And to find this second number, I'm just taking that previous one away from 100. So 100 minus 40 is 60%. So we can see that the younger age group has 60, the middle age group has 48, and the larger age group has 40% that ride the bus. So these numbers are declining, and we can make hypothesis or guesses as to why that happens. My guess is this older age bracket, they have their license. So they might actually be driving their own cars. And then maybe in here, they just prefer to ride with their older siblings. Not really sure. But there is a steady decline, or not necessarily steady, but there is a decline between the different age groups. All right, those are two-age frequency tables. They're pretty straightforward, but if you have any questions, let me know when you come to class.